Hi, this is the Roger Sherman Building Committee. Today's date is June 2nd, 2020. This is Ellen Marks, the recording secretary. Okay, you can start, Eric.
Okay. The meeting is called to order. First item on the agenda is an update from Colliers on the lockers, the quote for painting the walls above the lockers, installing a rubber base, update on the construction schedule, financial status report, and any other items Colliers feels fit to share with the committee. With that, Mark, would you like to provide an update?
Thank you. Mark Schweitzer, Colliers. Locker update is basically the same as it was that I reported on the 19th, but I did reach out to Penco, the Penco rep. The GNF installers out of New Hampshire is a Penco certified installer, so I will be reaching out to them for their insurance cert prior to them coming on site. They are still targeting essentially the third week in June to come in or to have the lockers shipped, and they will be in after they receive them from North Carolina to their New Hampshire site. I'm thinking they're going to be. They're not. If they come in the third or fourth week of June, we're going to probably see them after July. So I will reach out to them, get their insurance cert, and make sure that get an updated schedule for next time. As far as the quotes for painting the walls above the lockers, installing the rubber base, got the detail. We'll be going out to the public schools on-call contractors to get quotes for this work. Just received that, so we'll be going out in the next week to them for them to get quotes. In regards to the Sherman,
sorry, Mark. Sorry to interrupt. Just one question before we move off the lockers.
Yep.
Did Silver Petroselli review the punch list and confirm that aside from the Penco stuff, that PSI completed their portion of the punch list work?
Yes, they did a follow-up and back punched their punch list and submitted, I believe, field observation report number 4, which basically there are no open items on PSI's punch list.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. As far as the AC project and diversity, we did receive an updated schedule from them last week. I did review it. They are tracking, on paper, they are tracking for substantial completion at the end of August. I believe they can very easily knock off at least a week off of that. I think they have a logic issue on them, but they are reporting that the last substantial completion for the RTU work is August 28th. They have gone back and they have did the upfront work. Their prior schedules had them setting the RTUs and then doing the duct work and the gas piping to them and the electrical to the RTU units. They have since, on this last update, they are doing that work up front. So after they set the unit, they have a week or two after to do the tie-ins and then do the testing and inspections. But their sprinkler work and their VRV work in the classrooms, they should be out of the classrooms by July 8th. So essentially another month, and they'll be out of the classrooms, and they'll only have the RTU work to complete in the month of August. And basically that is they get the units. One unit they'll set late July, and the other units they will set a week later, the other 2 units. And then they'll have their tie-ins and then the testing and inspections for that. So they are ahead of, they're showing ahead of the contract completion date.
That's great. But now the 1 unit was delivered, correct?
Correct.
And
that unit was delivered. No, it's at the Save More shop, their mechanical sub.
Okay. So the
Mark,
idea is that
Meredith. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Meredith.
I just have a question. If they're out of the classrooms by July 8th and then the RTU work will start, I think you said 2 weeks later, will there anything be going on during those 2 weeks in between?
According to their schedule, they will be doing the upfront work for the RTU work.
Okay.
Installing duct work, gas piping and all.
But none of that's in the classrooms?
None of that is in the classrooms, correct.
All right. Thank you.
And then remind me again when the electrical shutdown is scheduled for?
Sal, correct me if I'm wrong. We are scheduling that for the 3rd week of June, correct? After the personnel items go back to the students.
Right. June, this is Sal Morbido. Before I reply, FYI, Rich Special is on through my phone. So he's been on for the whole meeting.
Okay.
The electrical shutdown is June 18th, Thursday. That gets us past teachers pack up, student drop-off, pickup of material, the graduation car parade, all that stuff. And then summer is June 18th, first day, and that's when everybody's scheduled to shut down.
Okay. And they're still anticipating, originally they were going to do a week. So is that still the case? Five days?
Yeah, it's still the case that it's they would turn back on the 25th. Any problem? 25th. Doubt that they're going to catch a day, but if they do, they could possibly turn on 1 day early or 1 day late if there's a weather event.
Got it.
And even today, the telephone company was there pulling their wires into the boiler room. So work is happening over on that side of the building.
And that's in preparation of removing that pole?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. So that pole should be removed, I guess, imminently then, huh?
Well, as soon as there's a, that's one of the utilities that's on the poles that has to move. That's being taken care of. Once all the utilities are moved over, they can remove the pole. How imminent the removal is, I wouldn't venture to guess. We're talking, I'm government and we make fun of
multiple utilities.
So I'm not sure how long it would take Frontier to actually have the pole taken out, but it is in the loop.
Got it. All right. Okay. Mark, the completion of work within the classrooms by July 8th, that includes the replacement of ceiling tiles and everything, fully buttoned up?
Correct.
Okay.
According to their schedule, they're substantially complete July 8th with the sprinkler work, which is the longest line for the stuff in the classroom.
Right. Okay. What's the sign-off process look like with the town? Do they have to do a hydro test on the sprinkler line and all that before they can actually turn it on?
Correct. Before they hook in, they'll do a hydrostatic. They'll do a pressure test, have it witnessed, and then and go from there before they tie it in.
Okay. And then this is also flow switches, tamper switches, all that are getting tied into the existing fire alarm system, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So that would presumably follow the hydro test and all that. Are all of those sign-offs covered in Diversity's updated schedule?
They have a single line item for testing and inspections. So, and they've got a week to do so.
Okay. Does that
Eric?
Go ahead, David.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. David Stein, Silver Petroselli. So when we kicked off the project, the fire marshal, we had conversations with him in terms of periodic inspections. His review is just at the end, in which he will want to see the system substantially complete, and that's when he's interested in coming back and doing his visual inspections. So we do not expect the process to be more than his one or few inspections, depending on what he may ask them to, make adjustments with. But I don't anticipate this to be a major critical path item, other than obviously their work needs to be acceptable. And I think we've mentioned at our last meeting 2 weeks ago is that we've been out there and we've seen sprinkler work and we've commented on that. So we're comfortable with the workmanship that's taking place. So I don't anticipate that will, the sign-off piece of it, which is essentially the fire marshal himself, will be much of an arduous process.
Okay. All right, good. Yeah, I mean, that was my only concern about substantial completion happening at the end of August, is making sure everything kind of gets signed off and we get the blessing from all the powers that be prior to school opening up again, around that time.
Yeah, I think where we sit, where they're showing their schedule and what we need to have in hand prior to, full occupancy with students, I think there's enough time for us to manage that. And obviously, if we determine there's an issue, we'll let everybody know. But so far, they have been, pretty much marching along as they projected, as they've been retooling their schedule. So right now, there's no red flags on our end regarding that.
Okay, good.
So, if I can interject at this point, if I may.
Yeah, go ahead, Rich.
So David, when we get to the invoices, you're pretty much in agreement that we're at a point that's actually where we're at?
That is correct. We did. We received pencil requisitions. Myself and Marty Cashin, who is the project engineer who's managing the construction piece, both reviewed that. We reviewed it with Mark, and I endorsed and signed off on that yesterday.
Thank you.
DJ and Sherman.
Okay, great.
No. That's what I wanted to hear, and thank you for it.
Okay, right down. Stop it.
All right.
Brush your teeth well.
All right. Any other questions for Mark on the construction schedule? All right. Mark, you want to move along to an update on the financial status report?
Yep. The financial status report was distributed on Sunday. We are tracking well. We're tracking under budget. The one item that on the contingency log, we did encumber their change order just in case it doesn't go in the town's favor. So that is encumbered, and we're still tracking a $50,000 under our project contingency.
All right.
And I have no other updates.
Mark, one thing I don't think we really ever kind of resolved, I want to kind of keep on your radar, was we wanted to get a breakdown from Yankee on the work that the exterior work they did versus the interior work they did.
Yep.
Because that, I think, gets tracked towards FEMA differently. Exterior
Correct.
being excluded, interior being included. Did we ever get that breakdown from them?
We did get a breakdown from them. Let me open it up, and I can of their 121,000 contract, $70,000 is included in the FEMA work, and 51,180 is outside the building and is excluded.
Okay.
And he said the 70. He said the 70 is a conservative number.
Okay.
I mean, he could lower that, but he said, if you're going to be conservative, you can go 70.
Okay. Is that breakdown detailed enough that we can share that with Jim Wendt to make sure that he agrees with that, with that breakdown on the scope, and just that we get kind of a preliminary blessing on that accounting, so we don't run into issues further on down the road?
I have in the past given it to Jim, and I will update this and give it to him again. This, I'll do the June, and probably and do one every couple months to just give him the update on the progress of the project, and we will get I will get him to take a look at it and review it.
Okay. Mark, excuse me. If I can interrupt again.
Yep.
Did you provide that to the committee? That interim one, the previous one?
I believe I did. I can confirm that. I can confirm it in my emails to make sure I did.
Okay.
Yeah,
and if not, I will send it out again.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind.
Yep.
Yes. I'm sorry. And where we stand currently, that you're going to present to.
Well, I mean,
this is very, very important. It's very important.
Understood. I mean, it's I'm not using the paid to date. I've been using the encumbered numbers for the contractors. So, I mean, yeah, I can update it and get it out again.
Thank you.
And that is, unless there's any other questions, that is all the updates I have.
All right. Thank you. Any questions from the committee for Mark?
No.
Meredith McCormick,
Right.
there was one, I don't know if you want to discuss it now or another point, but Mark, maybe you could give us an update on the one small change order we had about the people who have to come out and watch the people remove the asbestos.
Yeah, there's probably, as part of the construction there, and part of the hazmat survey that was conducted last fall, Fuss and O'Neill found a piece of duct, a flexible duct that was previously installed that contains asbestos. Diversity is getting to the point where they need to remove this piece of ductwork to do their work. We had basically a quote for them. It's following all the DPH's guidelines. It's not a full containment, and it's not a glove bag, but it's a.
That's what I was just going to say. It couldn't. Why? It's not a glove bag. Why not?
Well, it's a plastic and drop. So essentially, it's a glove bag.
It would sound. It sounds like. What was the dimension?
Probably 18 by 2 foot.
Which would be a glove bag.
Well, it's attached to a piece of ductwork, so they're going to lower it intact onto plastic and take it off that way.
All right.
Yeah, because it's essentially a flexible collar, right, around the connection.
Yeah, it's a correct.
Yeah, so I think just physically, you're not able to remove it with a quote unquote glove bag, right? It needs kind
correct. But it's not. You're not under full containment. So part of DPH's regulations, it has to be monitored by a certified asbestos monitor, which is Fuss and O'Neill. There is monies left on their PO, so they are going to use part of that time to come out and monitor the abatement of this flexible duct. And it's less. The quote came in less than $500.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Mark. Any other questions for Mark from the committee? All right. Not hearing any. Move on. Next item on the agenda is an update from Silver Petrocelli on construction and any other updates. David, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think we covered all of the particular issues, but again, to reiterate to the group, we meet with the contractor on a weekly basis. Our project engineer has been out to the project site and has been reviewing any progress. There has been a few coordination RFIs, and we've responded to all of them. And as I mentioned, they continue to move along. So at this point, the project is where we would expect it to be, and we see no signs of concern. We're just, managing them tightly. When we do get any RFIs that do come in that we think are potential precursors to change orders, we have been, fairly stern in our replies related to that, to discuss items that are contemplated in the scope of work. But at this point, none have been presented to us, with the exception of the one that was submitted for the electrical, in which we are still awaiting a detailed breakdown. So all we have right now is a lump sum item of material and labor. We have said we will, we cannot respond until we have a detailed number, and we're waiting on that. I'm sure tomorrow we'll get another update, because our meetings are now Wednesday mornings. So with all of that, the project is moving along, and they're doing a good job.
All right, great. Any questions for David from the committee? All right. Not hearing any. Moving right along. Next item on the agenda is to hear, consider, and act upon the minutes of the regular meeting of May 19th, 2020. I will make a motion to approve these minutes as written. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion, comments on the minutes from the committee? Not hearing any. Move it to a vote. All in favor of approving these minutes?
Aye.
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 All opposed?
Patty abstaining.
Okay. Thank you, Patty. No opposed, one abstention. Next item on the agenda is to hear, consider, and act upon the outstanding invoices. The first invoice I had open. 1 second. Is from Silver Petrocelli in the amount of $2,930. I'll make a motion to approve this invoice.
Eric, this is invoice number 20-1308, dated 6/1/2020.
A second.
Thank you. All right. I have a second. Any discussion from the committee? Not hearing any. All in favor? Aye.
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 All opposed? Not hearing any. Any abstentions?
No,
Oh.
aye.
Patty, you oppose?
No, I'm in favor of that
Oh. Sorry. Okay.
motion.
Okay. And any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Next invoice is from Diversity Construction Group. Pay app number 2 in the amount of $348,079.47. I'll make a motion to approve this invoice. Do I have a second?
I just have a question on that.
I think we need a second. I'll second it for discussion purposes. It's Meredith.
Okay, right.
Okay, thank you, Meredith. All right. Yeah,
are
Rich,
we
go ahead.
are we not using AIA documents on these things?
No, I believe we are. I signed an AIA document.
Is that what?
It's not a true AIA document, but it's based on the AIA 702 and 703.
Yeah, it's the same format.
Can you clarify
that's
what
it.
an AIA document is, please?
Sure, it's the Would you like me to do it? It's the AIA is the American Institute of Architects. It's it's a standard form of agreement that we use. Universally, it's a common template that's used in the construction industry, and in this case for invoicing purposes.
Okay, thank you. Can somebody also tell me what percentage this is of the diversity bill? This second payment of $348,000. Where does that bring us at percentage of their total allotment for the job? Mark?
It is. Yep. I'm waiting for it to load up.
Thank you.
There we go.
On
the last page, it is the grand total work completed to date is $645,000, and that brings us to essentially 29% of their contract.
Okay, thank you, Mark.
28.86 to be precise.
Rich, special back to the chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Rich.
This business about the AIA document not being utilized, is the committee happy with this? Is the chair willing to accept what's being submitted to us?
Yes, I mean, it for all intents and purposes, it follows the AIA format, though it does not, appear to have the actual AIA designation on it. But the format remains the same. The level of recording remains the same. It has been signed and executed by both the contractor, also notarized by the contractor, signed and approved by Colliers. I'm not seeing the architect's signature on this copy, though.
That's what's bothering me.
I could attest. I signed it. I signed that yesterday. So I don't know. It just didn't get into your packet, but I had the original.
Right, because I saw the notaries. I did not see an architect's signature on it.
Yeah. So typically, that gets signed either after you endorse it or before. But for a matter of record, I did sign that yesterday.
Okay. I would like. Okay. To the chairman.
Mm-hmm.
I usually want to see the architect's signature on an AIA document. I will absolutely take David's word at this particular point that that's done, or he has signed the appropriate documentation. But it is important that we have the guarantees that the architect is paid for and represents is done.
Yeah, agreed. I agree, Rich, and I would just request in the future, Mark and David, that when the packet gets distributed to the committee, that we have the final version that has been reviewed and executed by the architect as well. And for me, for tonight's purposes, David's attestation, that's a word, on the record, I think is fine. That's sufficient for me.
And that his estimation is, as far as the contractor is performing as expected. Let's leave it to that.
Right. And moving forward, Rich, I don't personally, I don't have any issues with the fact that it doesn't have the AIA stamp at the top of it, as long as all of this other information, including the architect's signature, is on that cover sheet. I'm fine with this format. But yeah, and I'm willing to hear comments or concerns by the rest of the committee if any member feels otherwise.
Is Gerald Foley there? I mean,
he was.
Yeah, he was on the call.
Yes, this is Gerald Foley. I was muted, so
okay.
I am listening. I am here.
You're not going to have are you going to have a problem approving making a payment with the documents that's submitted?
No, as long as I get the original that does have the architect's signature, I'm okay.
Okay, I know that, and that's why we need that. Okay, but David says he's signed it, so
yes.
I don't wish to penalize the contractor who's looking for this payment and needs to pay others. So just as a
right.
construction
So what
person,
I would ask,
Isn't it possible that the motion could be amended so that we say that this is approved based on the acknowledgement of the architect that the document was in fact signed? Couldn't we just amend to that so that we can pass the motion?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yay.
I'm fine with that.
okay, why don't you propose that then?
Well, since it's Eric's motion, could you just reiterate your motion and include that appendage?
Okay. So the amended motion is to approve pay app number 2 from Diversity Construction Group in the amount of $348,079.47, with the assertion from David Stein of Silver Petrocelli that he has indeed signed the pay app that will be presented to Gerald Foley and his group.
Second. I second the motion.
All right. Thank you. All right. Any other further discussion from the committee?
Okay. Eric, if I may, I just want to point out that the reason why this application came in that way and you didn't have an original is the contractor, obviously, with your meeting landing on June 2nd and his work being billed all the way to the end of the month. We just received the bill, and we told them that it was going to be tight and that we would move this through just to help him with cash flow so it's not waiting another 2 weeks and then push him out, since it was a good amount on his invoice. So we were just working with him to help facilitate cash flow, as I think we all understand is an important thing. So I'm sure I'll pass it along. He will appreciate that we move this along, and we will make sure that the next one that you have a fully executed one prior. But it is sometimes a race to the finish for the contractor to get us a pencil copy, for us to go back and forth and review it with the correct amounts. Mark is involved too. So it takes a little bit of time to do that, and we don't want to hold up contractors' payments. And since you as a committee, which is helpful, meet every 2 weeks, some only meet once a month, we're cognizant of cash flow. So that's the only reason why things are being sort of pushed through. It's not that anyone's being sloppy in their paperwork. We knew this one would come through, as he got that to us last week in our Wednesday meeting. We mentioned to him that this was going to be tight.
Right. All right. Well, I appreciate that explanation, and I appreciate you expediting your review as well. I think in this current climate, more than ever, on projects that are going forward, it is important to kind of keep the money flowing. I know a lot of contractors are struggling. So, thank you,
Mr. Chairman. And indeed, that's exactly why I'm not objecting to any of this moving forward, because I'm cognizant of contractors' problems in moving a project when the payment is not made timely.
Yes.
So I will vote a yay for the motion.
Okay. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Yay.
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Not hearing any. Any abstentions? Not hearing any. Okay. And the final invoice is from PSI in the amount of $12,000 with still a $6,000 holdback. I will make a motion to approve this invoice. Do I have a second? Okay.
Yeah, I'll second the motion because then it'll open it up for discussion. Second the motion by Patty.
Okay, thank you, Patty. All right, let's open it up for discussion.
Yeah, Eric, my comment is the $6,000 holdback. I know why we were doing it, and it hasn't been resolved yet. So, $12,000 more payment is, again, Mark, what percentage of their total bills have been paid? What percentage of the total amount allotted them has been paid at this point?
That
Mark?
would be, I'm here.
Thank you.
Okay. I had to check to make sure I was on mute. Their original contract was $80,000, and this will bring them up to $74,000. So They would be at 92.5% complete.
Right. So my question, Eric, to you and the committee is, with a $6,000 holdback, that's only, approximately 8%, is that sufficient enough to, stronghold them on issues of concern that we still have, sort of? I'm sorry to put it that way, but that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel it has. Just as they're moving forward to complete the job and do the right thing and get everything pulled together, hopefully in July, with the front.
Who's speaking? Who's speaking?
It's Jenna.
That was Jenna.
Okay.
Yeah, I would concur. I know, we've seen this invoice or some version of it over the last
2 or 3
couple
times.
months, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I think in hearing from Mark and David earlier this evening that the other punch list items that could be attributed to PSI and not to Penco have all been satisfied. I think it's. I do think it's time that we do release some money to them, and I think this amount is appropriate. With the $6,000 holdback, it's still, like I said, amounts to about almost 8% of their contract. It's a little less than a normal. Well, what I would say would be a normal 10% retainage, but as we learned at our last meeting, a normal retainage for jobs with the town is more in the 5 to 7% range. So, this is still in excess of even that 7% range. So, I think it's I think it's appropriate.
So while I hear that from you, Eric, and Jen's opinion on it, can I just have confirmation from both Mark and David that they're in agreement that this is fine with them, and they both believe that PSI is going to fulfill their current contract? Can I have Mark and David weigh in on that, please?
Yes, I mean, the remaining work left for the lockers is warranty work that is being handled by essentially Penco National. So the amount of work left or the amount of money left is you could get done the work that you need to get done.
Okay,
to hire
Mark and
somebody
David?
else to come in to do the work.
Okay, and Mark and David, David.
I have no objection.
Okay, thanks, guys. I just wanted to hear that from you.
I guess the dog doesn't have any objections either.
Yeah. I thought he was objecting.
No, sorry.
That was not.
He objects to a lot. Get down.
Okay. I was going to say that's not my dog for the record. Yeah, I say him a lot.
Okay. Any other comments or questions from the committee?
No.
All right. So I'll move it to a vote. All those in favor of approving this invoice, say aye.
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 All opposed? Any abstentions? All right. All in favor. Okay. Moving along. Next item on the agenda is any change orders. Mark, do we have any change orders this go around?
No, none to present tonight.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is any old business. Is there any old business any of the committee members would like to raise? Not hearing any. Any new business the committee members would like to raise?
I don't know if it's appropriate, but as far as tomorrow's meeting, I will be able to monitor that meeting. So if that's
Okay, same with me, Rich. So I'll be on there with you.
I don't know if this is okay.
Okay, great. Thank you both. Any other new business? All right.
This is Gerald Foley.
Oh, yep, go ahead, Gerald.
I just was calling to give the committee an update. I have not gotten any certified payroll documents from Diversity yet. I know this is only their second application, but I just wanted to make you guys aware of it.
So he hasn't been paid yet.
Well, we normally
he
get.
He has been paid.
Right. We paid the first application, but I'm just saying this is the second one, but we still haven't gotten any certified payroll documents. Normally they lag. Yeah, there's normally a lag.
Yeah, that's part of their contract, Gerald, right?
But we haven't gotten them yet.
No.
So the certified payroll documents, I presume, come in with, and it also brings up the fact which we probably should have discussed when we were reviewing that application, but lien waivers, both of those.
Yeah, no lien waivers have been received either.
Well, tomorrow I'll get on the call with John and tell him before you guys process the check, they'll need to provide the certified payrolls and the lien waivers for the town to process their check.
Right, and typically at this point we wouldn't get full lien, we would usually get partials.
Yep.
Right.
Partials for the first payment.
Right.
And that would be from diversity and all their subs, correct?
We did request. Typically you only get it from the general contractor. I think we mentioned that at our last committee meeting, but we did request that they provide it also from their subcontractors, and he did not object to doing so.
Okay. So,
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Rich.
David, can we talk about this tomorrow at the OIC meeting?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I don't know if the ship has sailed, but should our approval of their invoice be contingent on receiving the certified payroll and the partial lien waivers? It probably should be, but I don't know. Are we able logistically to go back and?
I think you're right. I think that's absolutely correct.
This is Gerald Foley. If I could comment.
Yes, Gerald.
Yeah, so typically the prevailing wages, they usually, all that documentation doesn't coincide with the applications. I'm just mentioning it as a fact that we haven't gotten any yet, and I know with some of the bigger projects, like we have Gilbane, so we'll get them, they're compiling them for us, and then they submit them to us. But my comment is that a smaller job such as this, they should be submitted, if not with the first application, definitely with the second application. So again, there might be a lag in them, but just the fact that this is the second one and we haven't gotten any. That was all I was bringing. So I don't necessarily think you have to, put that condition on there, but I just wanted to make you guys aware of it. We haven't gotten them.
I think rather than put a condition on our previous motion, can we, put that as an action required by Mark, since he is the one that ultimately is riding that show and getting these guys in alignment?
I can do that. I will make sure that they have this. Prior to the town cutting the check, I'll have the certified payroll and the lien waivers to Gerald.
I think,
Okay.
Does that satisfy you guys?
Yeah. So we'll let the record reflect that the committee has requested that Mark obtain all partial lien waivers and the certified payroll documents and distribute those to Gerald Foley in the purchasing department prior to issuance of payment to Diversity Construction Group.
As approved by the previous motion to dispense those dollars. Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Great. All right. Any other questions, comments from the committee under new business?
Right. Meredith, must we restate that whole item?
I think we decided not to restate it and just leave it in Mark's capable hands, right?
And it's acknowledged in the minutes
under
new business.
I'm comfortable
We
with
can
that.
to follow up on the.
Is that where it belongs? I'm just questioning if it is that where it actually belongs?
Well, that's where it came up, and that's where Gerald gave us the information, and for us that was new information. So,
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure if you want to go back and redo the motion and do that, I'm sure we can. I
think we should. I absolutely think we should.
All right, then we can just say that under new business, a new piece of information was brought to our attention by Gerald Foley, and we'd like to amend the motion. Ellen, can you please read back that motion?
Well, it would say the initial part of, approving payment with the caveat that the committee requested Mark obtain partial lien waivers and the other thing,
payroll
to
document.
Distribute, the payroll document, to distribute to Gerald Foley and the finance department before payment is dispensed. That's what it would say.
Okay, but I don't
before
want
payment is
say,
released. Yeah.
Release.
I would rather just take out the fact that Mark has to get it and yada yada. Like, I think it should just say, if the payment is dependent on the purchasing office receiving the certified payroll documents and partial lien waivers from Diversity. So that was what my amended motion is, if there's a second.
Who is it?
It's Meredith.
Meredith.
Okay.
I'll second it.
So I guess,
Eric,
I don't know if there's any more discussion now.
Just for clarification, is Mark's name at all in that motion? Or at least his company?
No, I didn't put it.
Well, it should.
You know what? I think Rich. No, I think Rich. It's in the new business. So, it's circular. It goes back to that. We know that Mark is the one who's initiating. That's his job. And we stated it in new business as this was brought to our attention. Mark has agreed to follow this through.
If that's us, but if somebody's outside reading it, are they going to know that? I mean, they have to go.
I defer to you with more experience. I do.
And I'm not even saying Mark. I'm saying Collier's Mark as a representative. The corporation first, then Mark.
I think as long as, the bottom line is we want to make sure Gerald has the information before he pays it out. So, to me, that's covered in the motion.
Clarifies it.
Yeah. You want Mark's name in the motion?
I do.
Okay, so we'll amend the motion.
Mark as a representative of Collier's. Okay, so he's so we know where it's going to come from when it comes. That's it.
That's fine. Ellen, do you just mind reading back that whole motion?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So it would say that the payment is dependent on the purchasing department receiving partial lien waivers and the payroll documents.
Certified payroll documents.
Okay, certified payroll documents before payment is released. Where do you want Mark's name in there?
How about this will be facilitated by Collier's?
Fine.
Facilitated by Collier's.
Our owner's rep.
As owner's rep, correct. As put the yes.
Okay.
All right.
So can you just give us the whole motion, Ellen, so everyone's on the same page? Okay. So the regular motion and payment is dependent on the purchasing department receiving partial lien waivers and certified payroll documents before payment is released to be facilitated by Colliers as owner's rep.
Correct.
Okay. So I will make that my amended motion, and I forgot who wants to second the amended motion.
I'll second the amended motion.
I'll second it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
All right. So Richard Special seconding it.
All right. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
All those opposed? Not hearing any. Any abstentions? Not hearing any. Okay. Just before we close out new business, I'll ask one more time. Anything else that the committee would like to raise under new business? All right. Not hearing any. I will make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 All right. All opposed? Any abstentions? All right. Great. Thank you all very much. Have a nice night. Stay safe.
Good night.
Stay healthy.
Thanks, Eric.
Good night.
Thank you.
Eric.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.